Boxes is something that started really, really small. It started with James and I just wanting to do something that was good for people during the holiday season. It started as a tiny little thing and has grown into something that's so much more than we could have ever expected.
When we first came up with the idea, me and Peter, it was just kind of on a whim, and if someone would have come up to us and said, hey, in 10 years, you're going to be looking at like $250,000 raised to date, we would have said, forget it. I think the first year we made $150 or $300 or something like that. So,
and I think one day, it might have been in the fall, where we were having a conversation about how great it's been and how great this business has been to us and what could we do to give back.
My name is Dina Klaschinski, and I'm the Executive Director of the Urban Native Youth Association. We're a non-profit youth organization. We've been around for almost 30 years, and we deliver a whole continuum of programs and services to respond to the needs of Native youth in Vancouver.
The Urban Native Youth Association is a very, very important organization. The program that the money we raise goes to is the OCM program, which basically is like their arts and culture program.
The Bentwood Box Auction is exceptional on so many levels, not only because it helps to raise awareness about Anya and the current work that we're doing, it also is bringing to the community to visibly show that Native youth are valued and supported. As adults, we're kind of the connectors between elders and youth. You know, like we're just the bridge.
We're dealing with youth. We're dealing with young people who, may be in a tough spot. And if they can really embrace their culture and have support from somebody like Anya, they are going to flourish.
Current artists that are pursuing a living and achieving success in their particular art form, for them to commit their time and creativity to support youth that have yet to even discover their artistic abilities, is such a statement. It says so much about our community's commitment to supporting the next generation, and also to put a hand out and to support, walk with our young people, and to give them every opportunity to achieve success and show us the way to the future.
Well, I receive a palette to work with, and then I think about what I'm doing and what this is for, and this is for the youth, Aboriginal youth. And one of the things that's really important to me is that, especially because a lot of them are urban youth, that we have a sense of our culture being present in the city. So I live in the city, but I grew up on a reservation, so I know both sides. And taking, the Bentwood box, which is a really traditional shape, and using steel, for example, putting them together kind of is who we are. We're put together as a culture in and out of our reservations.
I think we used to live, a historic way like everyone in the world. And we don't live in that world anymore. And today there's a lot of youth, a lot of Aboriginal youth here in the city, a lot of families here in the city. And just as we're innovative with our artwork and our storytelling and everything else in our community, we're also having to be innovative in terms of how we work with our youth.
My name is Sean Hunt. I'm a carver, painter, jeweler from the Heiltsuk Nation. I mean, you could start anywhere, but you see the sort of a human-like face, which then wraps around the corner into a raven-like face pointing this way. with an eagle. And then there's some, tricky stuff going on in the negative space as well, another creature looking up that way. And then an arm swings around this way into a hand, which becomes the wolf, and the bottom of the wolf's lip arcing into the nostril and the nose area. And then the wolf's ear also wraps around a corner and gets elongated again. You have a sort of a frog figure here, where the frog arm kind of transforms or again morphs, shapeshifts into an eagle head. And the tongue actually wraps around where the eye would be. And then you come back again to the beginning. And then on the top of the box, I've just done a sort of a very realistic representation of the moon, sort of shining down on the scene, what's going on.
Yeah, I like to teach. I taught my boys all about the art form, and I love to teach about the art, and I've done that for many, many years. And I like to teach everything I ever know. And I always said that if my boys are, some people have said my boys are getting better than me, and that's great. Because if I wasn't doing my job properly, they won't, they'd be staying the same as I am. But if they're doing it, if I'm doing my job properly as a teacher, then they're moving ahead in a different direction, which is great.
I think it's the same thing with the boxes and the other artists. You just kind of see what the other person is doing kind of next to you or and then you just get inspired because it's so awesome or something. That's kind of how it works, so that's the way I approach it anyway. You see something that somebody's just like really knocked it out of the park. It's the same with these two fellas and the people involved with making the boxes, and you see something really special and you're like, wow, that really like stokes the fire to kind of be like, oh, okay, I can try and do this. Or so you just kind of, you want to do something special, try something new, kind of, do something that's a little out of the box. Pardon the pun.
To see all the different artists. So we become artistically challenged. And so there's almost like a, oh, did you see Phil Gray's box? Oh, macro. Or did you see this guy's box? Oh, wow, did you see that? There's some. So ultimately, we're not only helping, but we're helping ourselves at the same way, in a way that everybody wins.
Until one year, Steve Smith decided to go all out and make us all look bad, and he did this really awesome little raven coming out of it, and he had these twigs that he plugged into the sides of the box, so it looked like a raven's nest. And it was just awesome, right? So, but Peter had to sell it for $200, and it was worth way more than that, right?
I had people lining up outside the gallery the day we put them on display to try to buy that box for $200. And at our open house the next night, we drew a name out of a hat, and that person was able to buy that box. And when I wrapped it up and they paid for the box, they said to me, I would have paid a lot more money for that box.
It's amazing. I mean, to think that you can get 12 artists who can create things that are so different and so varied, but it all comes from the heart, I think. It comes from a place where we want to give back something, and Peter gives us the avenue to do that. So,
After a couple years, I noticed there was artwork that we would have never seen. We would have never seen this art because there's no rules. There's no limitations whatsoever, except for it has to be made out of the box. And so some of the pieces that have come back are incredible.
I definitely like, there's a little bit more freedom with these boxes for sure. And I enjoy that it goes to a good cause as well. So it's kind of a double bonus. You get to experiment a bit and then raise some money for the kids, the youth.
The inspiration for this box really is just trying to define who I am as an artist. My two influences majorly are native Northwest Coast and graffiti. So I've mixed the two as best as I can in the last year, doing both of them as best as I could, as cleanly as I could, at the same time making a mess. It's just a big happy mess.
So it's in its early stages right now. I've got my sketchbook here. I'm going to start maybe doing some rough sketches and start roughing it out in the next couple of days. If I focus on it and put all my own personal energy into it, and it'll show itself and it'll come through, and it's hopefully will, you know, resonate throughout the universe. It really boils down to a lesson in yourself and how you conduct yourself in your lives, and what you put out is what you get back. So I try to put this energy into this box so that, you know, maybe it's going to make somebody feel good, and I'm going to feel good, and everybody. The idea is to make everybody feel good.
If we can plant those healthy seeds with compassion and love, you know, that brings self-confidence, self-awareness, everything else will make that person stronger, and then that energy just transmits, and the people around them go, wow. And that's what it's about, right? The youth in the city, you know, my heart goes out to them. I lived in the city for 10 years. I thought in my mind that I didn't do my people any good living in the city. So I came home to Bella Bella. And now through work like this, I can still send love, compassion, and all kinds of stuff to the city, eh?
These boxes are kind of going on a journey. They start in James's studio as a piece of raw wood that he's kerf cut, steamed and bent, and then brought to me here at the gallery. Artists come in, they collect the boxes, I mail them out. They create those boxes with tremendous artwork. And then they make the journey back. And it doesn't even end there. Because when the lights go down and all the boxes get mailed to their customers, or they pick them up, we get to take that check, give it to the Urban Native Youth Association, and they get to use that money to help support youth, and in a lot of cases, maybe aspiring artists that might create boxes for this event in 20 years from now.
Yeah, it's just completely evolved on its own, and it's, you give it a little push, and it takes off. It's wonderful.
Anya really needs continued stable support, and the fact that we can do this event, and as much as we've given, and as much as we can continue to give, makes me extremely proud.
I'm very proud of what we do. Like I say, it's the best part of my year, you know, and I think about it all year, and it just gets better every year. I can't see, every year I say it can't get any better than that, and sure enough, it gets a little bit better every year.
And if we can continue to contribute like we do every single year, maybe we can make a big change for Anya and a big change for the community.